The inspector came in, did his round, and left with his money.
Take it down, I'll take a look at it, and we'll continue.
There's absolutely no way we would have bought this house, given, you know, the scope of everything that's wrong.
So you've had some sloppy brick guys, you've had some sloppy plumbers, you've had some sloppy electricians in here.
I think the feeling now is a huge feeling of defeat.
This is like one of the worst new homes I've ever seen. Reza and Liz, good people. 2 young kids, boy and a girl. Buying their first house, really smart, have a park in the area, really nice area. House is about 7, 8 years old. Hire an inspector, making sure they buy a house that doesn't have a finished basement. All kinds of things start happening. This is not good for the age of the home. I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna do a Holmes inspection. I'm gonna find out what's wrong and I'm gonna make it right.
Where's the hammer?
The hammer.
Hey. The home, when we purchased the house, was 7 years old. It was the semi, right across the park, so that was exciting for us. A small backyard, but big enough. It had a patio in it and a pergola, and we thought, you know, the kids can run around, and we just thought it was a perfect size. It was just big enough for us that we thought we can come in here. It's more room than we need now, but we can grow into it. And we wanted a cozy home. We grew up being around, you know, a tight-knit family, both of us, and we wanted to have the same thing. We wanted to be all together all the time and hanging out and doing everything together. The home inspector was in and out very quick. He was here for about 45 minutes. He just walked through very casually for the most part of it, looking at things, glancing at things, and I was following him along and occasionally ask a question about this or that, and he seemed to know the answer right away. So I didn't get any sense that what he was saying should be questioned or he might have missed something. He seemed very confident.
We also felt very confident about the fact that the basement was unfinished, and we had assumed that any apparent issues would have been detected by our home inspector because everything was exposed, which is, you know, a piece of advice that we had received from a number of other homeowners. And at the point that you're ready to buy a house and you find a house that you love, you know, everything's in place, you just need an inspector to tell you, you know, that the house is in good shape. That's all you want. And when we got that, we were excited. We were thrilled to finally get our, you know, our first home together, you know, for our family to have more space. But then it very quickly dissolved into this feeling of, you know, either this house is cursed or we're cursed.
Hi.
Liz?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Mike. Nice to
Great
meet
to
you. You
meet
must
you.
be Rez or Reza?
Reza.
Reza. Nice to
Mike.
meet you, sir.
Meet you.
You know what? Since it's a little bit wet out, I've got my coat on. Do you mind grabbing your coats and come on outside and we'll start on the outside, work our way in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks.
We first started experiencing problems with our home in our ensuite bathroom. We had pipes freezing within days of first moving in. You know, a typical morning, go get ready to take a shower, turn the water on, and nothing happened.
So directly above us is a bathroom.
Yeah.
This is our other cold room. Had a family friend open the ceiling in the garage to realize that there was absolutely no insulation around the pipes.
We took some pictures of it. It was amazing to see there was absolutely nothing around the pipes, not even pipe insulation.
And we're not experts by any means, but we could tell just from looking at this that this was not right.
One, we don't normally run copper pipes or water pipes in an outside zone. The inspector should have warned you that there's potential for those pipes to freeze. Two, they introduced spray foam, which I absolutely love. This is an open cell spray foam. It's not a closed cell. Problem with the spraying with the half pound is that it will actually shrink and crack. And based in this area, it's going to be an issue for cold air getting in against those water pipes. It's going to freeze and just turn into a disaster.
We had some pink insulation stuffed in there to keep it from freezing again. Whatever is causing the cold to come into our bathroom and into the master bedroom is still there. It's super, super cold in that room.
Now, who did the caulking and the brick up there?
I did that. While we were doing an inspection with the home inspector, I recall seeing a few bricks that were cracked, and he just shrugged it off as not a big deal. It wasn't until some time after that I started noticing some stains in the ceiling in our kitchen. that looked like water damage. And I made the trek up to the second floor, and I noticed that it's not just like hairline cracks, the bricks have actually separated. It's a good like quarter-inch difference in the way they're sitting. So I just tried to caulk up whatever I could see just to prevent water from coming in.
Now, who did the caulking on the sills? Because you're supposed to caulk that. However, I'm gonna assume it's not the builder because this is caulked after the mortar. There's no caulking here and there's no caulking here. Here's the mortar, so we're gonna have water easily penetrate the mortar, get into this point. If water gets in behind the brick and mortar, it will crack all that area just like it did above us. But they've only caulked here. So somebody caulked afterwards, and what they should have done was rake that mortar back and put that caulking down in between. Let's take a look at the basement. Well, so the inspector saw this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This needs to be fire coded. It's a fire hazard, and I'll tell you why. If a fire broke out, the flames will hit that. We're gonna have chemicals that come off it. I love rigid foam. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of spray foam, but it must be fire protected, because if you're in the house, it's gonna give bad fumes. It's gonna knock you right down. You may not make it out of the house. He should have caught this. This is right away. You either take it down or you cover it up. Where's the receptacle in the report? He said he wanted changed. And that is a problem. That outlet is too close to the sink. That should be GFI protected. He's right on that one. Good for him. He caught one thing. Not to mention, he missed this. This is your discharge for your washing machine. That is not high enough.
Which consequently backs up into the sink, and you can see the outline of it.
Well, come on down here with me. Why do you think it backs up into your sink?
Is it sloped incorrectly?
my God.
Backwards again.
Isn't that freaking funny? Let's look at the cold room before I go. How many times I gotta see this? They leave the form up. Let me tell you why all of this should come down. 2 food groups for mold. First one, hot meats, cold, moisture. We got hot meat and cold in here. There's no doubt about it. You said you saw frost on the wall. Number 2, organic product, live matter. Sapwood, young wood. So this is gonna mold. It should all be down. I'm cold, let's get out of here.
The pipe that gets the water out of the sump pump is underground, and it's frozen.
I had gone downstairs just to grab something, and I heard loud crashes of water coming from our cold room.
So when the sump pump was trying to pump the water out, it ended up just
It blew the joint.
blew it up and started shooting everywhere.
There was water all over the cold room. There was water pouring into the basement, and you know, had we seen that coming? Absolutely not.
Well, it's encouraged our daughter to want us to purchase for her a little toolbox with tools in it, just from her seeing so much, you know, construction type stuff happening. She'll see me on the ladder in the back and, you know, what are you doing? And I can't explain to a 2-year-old what I'm doing, so it's always Daddy's fixing the broken. So that's become a big thing now.
You know, you hire a home inspector, and they're supposed to come in and give you the advice you need so you can buy a house that's worth a lot of money and buy it wisely. In this case, he gave it 2 thumbs up, and it's just strictly said, right in the report, above average. The house is really good. Well, it's really clear we have signs of efflorescence in this area. Even the caulking job that goes right over the mortar is not done properly. Water has come in these areas. It's such a shame. 7 years old, you know, they hired a home inspector. He clearly could have seen this. He didn't even talk about it like it wasn't even an issue. I can tell by looking at the stairs that there is a footing underneath the stairs because there's been no movement whatsoever, and I can see that the ground is eroded away underneath it. That's a good sign. I want to see the footing. And if I look in here, if you can look closely, you're gonna see that there's no mortar in the stone there. There's no mortar there. This is an area, again, driven rain is gonna come in here and moisture can hit that area. Little things that can cause big problems down the road, that's one of them. You know, if you can't see it, it's not an issue, right? Not really. And then you got your stupid things. This I don't like. All in one area, eh? 2 downspouts. It's because we got this little system here that picks up the top roof down to this little roof. We have a downspout here, and we have a downspout also here from the front porch area. Now, more than anything, we should have the downspouts come down and then kicked out, not with these green flex lines. Some people like to use these, it's okay, but kick it right out, get it away from the foundation. If you look, it's nice and wet here, but it's really mucky here because the water's staying here due to the downspouts. Now, not to mention, this dryer line is blocked by the downspout. So every time you use the dryer, it's not opening. I'm really disappointed with the exhaust system from the sump pump that's in the cold room. If we take a look at this, here's where it exhausts out. The problem is, in the freezing winter, it'll freeze that line. It won't come out here, and it's gonna break the line downstairs. It's gonna try and discharge water, but it's frozen, so it won't. That's exactly what happened. It snapped right at the junction point, and then there was water downstairs. The home inspector misses everything in that one spot, which was a lot. Missed all the efflorescence in the front, which was a lot. Comes to the back. Now, it was Reza who cladded this over, who put wood over top of wood because it was in bad shape. So the inspector didn't talk about the stairs unless he did it verbally, but it's not in the report, so I don't see it as a documentation. It's not in the report, nor is there handrails. Anything over 3 steps requires a handrail. This is all a beautiful look thing. We have this semi-octagon jut out for the back door, which gives it a nice appeal. Problem being is this is a roof line, and this is a roof line over top of this jut out. 1, you can't get to that attic spot. 2, what if water gets in? Water's getting in. We see the moisture sign on the ceiling right about this area and old moisture signs on this side that they painted and tried to cover over. We see the signs of the brick breaking mean water got in and broke the brick. It froze and broke the brick. Right here alone is issues that tells me water's gonna come on the inside of the house and cause problems up there. So what do I have to do? Not only do I have to open up the ceiling in that area to inspect everything, I gotta fix all that up there so it doesn't happen again. Sloppy, 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 sloppy. So then I look at this drain. I can't believe they haven't flooded. That washing machine drain alone is only about 18 inches where the discharge from the washing machine comes in and strictly runs right uphill to try and get in. This is a drain. This is from the kitchen that comes down here, and you can even see the distance away from the floor joist here runs uphill. The distance here is really shallow. Didn't take me too long to look up and go, hey, there's an issue. Now, Rez was talking about the banging pipes. Probably sounds like that, eh? Think about it. Now, here you can see the duct guys did their strap, but it can't be touching that copper pipe. And it is touching it. The 2 metals don't get along. So had they actually stapled that, that wouldn't have made the noise. Just stapled that, it wouldn't have made the noise. Let's bring in Gary. We'll just have him check everything. Sure. Let's get Frank to look at the electrical. I've seen some electrical issues here. For a new home, this really sucks.
Kidding.
And plumbing. A whole bunch of water running uphill.
You're kidding me.
Yeah,
and this house is 7 years old.
7 years old.
Okay.
There's a well-built house. Looks like you've had all the sloppy guys that came into your house to build this house, and that's a shame. The builder has a good name. He doesn't today, does he?
No.
Not with us.
No.
Not with me, neither. I would like to close the door. Let's start from this end. Let's take our time. Pull down the drywall. Let's not break anything to do with here. I'm more interested in what ductwork's in this bulkhead, what ductwork's in that bulkhead, what is in this bulkhead, this one, and the one up front. Take it down. I'll take a look at it. We'll continue.
I think they're missing a bit of insulation here, even though they do have rigid in behind it.
Nice. That's a good one. I don't think you can pull this off. Let's see how much power you now you gotta clean it up.
I'm a little worried here with the HVAC. We're having quite an issue of trying to force. You can tell they taped off the registers downstairs to get the heat upstairs.
The problem isn't with these heat runs in the basement. The problem is he's losing so much heat in the ductwork, so much air volume out of it. It's just leaking everywhere.
So it's leaking in the basement. More than likely, we have leaks galore inside the garage.
There's probably heat ducts and return airs in every one of those bulkheads.
So I'm going to see if there's any leakage there.
What I did notice here is they don't have enough return air here, and I'll tell you why. This is your jumper box, your main return.
Yeah.
And then they're using the joists as a duct. Now the problem is they're only using 2. It's not enough, so the furnace is starving for air. Now, what I can see right now, this joist cavity's clear. There's nothing in it.
Yes?
I'm gonna use that cavity as another return, so I'll have 3 returns feeding the main instead of 2.
Okay. This is not bad for a new house. It's above average. All right. Any problems, let me know. I gotta open up the kitchen. Make sure we plastic up, protect everything we can. I'm only pulling down a little bit of drywall, but we don't want to put it all through the air. Just be a nice transition point to put up the new drywall. Wow, there's wood there. That usually hurts, eh?
Hey, Homer, what'd you find? What do you want me to do?
I just want to pull down drywall here just to expose everything. They got a ton of screws in this drywall.
Jeez.
They did something right here. Why am I on a ladder?
It is.
Look, I can see the water. This is all signs of moisture.
Oh, geez, look at that. Oh, you have actually cut right here. Look at this.
Yeah. Great joint, guys.
Yeah.
That vapor barrier should come back to here.
Yeah. Hey, Holmes, you mind if I go check on the boys?
Please. I'm just gonna take my time. Now I can see. I see daylight right at this area. There's 1, 2, 3 small spots over here. That would actually explain my water right here. Because there it is, right there. No wonder they were up there trying to caulk the top of the flashing.
Yeah, 3, snap it. 1, 2. Okay, guys, how's it going?
Good.
Okay, you guys are almost at the door. Let's close the door and continue, okay?
Oh, bingo.
Trap.
We're getting closer to the problem. 1, 2, 3.
Are you just seeing what's in that bulkhead?
Yeah.
What is it, half pound? It is half pound, isn't it? Why did they build this bulkhead here? Do we know yet?
It's a duct line.
It's a duct line. That's why they built that bulkhead. They wanted to get an extra 2 inches of spray foam.
So we do have a 2x4 structure. So much air leakage, especially in the bottom corner right there, is pulling air into the house.
Right.
It's called stack effect. If we have hot air escaping through the attic, it will pull cool air from a low area anywhere, especially in the area of the garage. Not only will it pull in carbon monoxide, but it has the opportunity of pulling in the glass fibers that's in the insulation.
You can see right into the basement here.
Of course.
All that air was just going right into this house from not only the heating runs, but we have return airs. We have access right into the basement.
I love this because what happens here is the framers come and frame, right? So they go to the next house, they're framing. In comes the HVAC, electrical, rough-in, plumbing, everything. You know, start up the chainsaw.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cut the ledger plate out, cut the ledger plate out. They know where they're gonna run all their ductwork, which opens that wonderful cavity and no insulation here. Did you have any bad insulation at all?
Nothing in there, nothing at all.
Okay, so then they box this out, try and add more insulation to give it to that R20. It's all crap.
But look what else they missed. I mean, they spray foam this. They've left the traps exposed. That is from the builder. You can see that it's finished. They didn't spray right to the trap.
I know.
I mean, that's sitting water. I'm surprised that didn't freeze. And you have it there, you have it there.
I bet you did.
What the hell is that there?
That is a trap from the tub. Okay, that's wrong. Here's what we're gonna do. I need you to find all the copper pipes.
Okay.
I want you to pull out all the yellow spray foam wherever there's pipes. I want you to pull out all the rigid foam, and then you're gonna build down the ceiling 2x4 across. Give me a cradle piece right across the front. Tag your 2x4 ceiling into that to give us strength in the center. Bring Alex in, spray everything, make sure the pipes are on the warm side, and I'm talking the plumbing pipes.
Absolutely.
How do you like this one? For a new home.
For a new home, I hate it.
Oh,
From a quality perspective, I hate it.
The inspector called it above average.
No.
We only have 5 breakers left, and you need to do what?
I got 5 remaining spots. All right, I need 1 for the sub pump. I need 2 breakers for the surge protection. I need 1 for the furnace, 1 for the washing machine, 2 spares. That gives me 6.
We got to change a panel.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a brand new house. My electrical's wrong, my HVAC's wrong, my plumbing's wrong, and it's brand new house.
I'm speechless.
You want to buy a house?
No.
Need a new panel.
My guys have a lot to do today. We're gonna start framing the garage. We have the 3 big trades starting today. I have Frank, Gary, and Martin coming in to start all their work. Frank's already installed the panel, he just needs to finish. We have Martin in the basement fixing up some plumbing, and Gary's actually gonna start on the furnace today.
I removed the joist lining because of the cross pieces. These ones here that are up in the joist, they're causing restriction. You know, you got a lot of stuff running through the joist. Obviously, you got some electrical runs through there. Anything you're gonna try to remove to eliminate any type of air restriction is your best scenario. This is the way they should have did it. They should have put this in like this when they put the return duct up, and I would have been happy.
This plug here is actually for the sub pump. This wasn't dedicated. This was tied in with other outlets in the house. People say, well, why does the sub pump have to be dedicated? Well, if you have it tied in with, say, a few other outlets or whatever, lights, breaker trips, you go away on vacation. Well, now your sub pump's not working. Peace of mind, you know that from this point all the way back to the panel, it's one straight piece of wire going right to the breaker. Nothing else is tied into it.
That's the result of inadequate slope. Also, other issues that I noticed here is the 90-degree fittings. Those are fittings that are typically used and implemented in a venting system. In the kitchen lines where I have grease buildup, what I like to do is introduce a 90-degree fitting but longer. This will allow water to drain faster, better, and prevent any buildup and problems to develop down the road. This is actually grease. It's been forming slowly, and as the grease gets older, it solidifies and it becomes almost like pieces of rock. Just fix it right and make sure all my angles are straight, my slope is done right, and that's how it should have been done in the first place.
The previous contractor, when they ran these heating runs, what they did is they cut the joists out in the garage and ran the pipe through. The pipes are going up through the garage and then heating the rooms above the garage. Well, these 2 runs were disconnected. They were open. So it's probably one of the causes why they didn't have a lot of heat going up to the bedrooms, at least airflow anyway. Temperature-wise, it's the garage not insulated properly. That's why they're just taking the heat right out of the pipe. We're just fixing them up, getting them supported, screwing them together so that way they're not going to come apart. And then we're going to insulate the runs in the garage with a foil back and then tape up all our joints.
Well, what's happened was when we took the plywood down, we noticed that they doubled up this wall here. And when they doubled up the wall, they left a gap between the 2. So the return air is actually not pulling as much as it should through from the upstairs. It's actually pulling it through this gap, through the insulation, and basically using the wall as a return instead of up there where it's supposed to come from. What we're doing is covering the gap up so that the return can pull from upstairs where it's supposed to come from.
Mike has asked Martin to check out the old sump pump, and he's decided to replace it with a new, more powerful unit. Now, this one also has a battery-operated secondary pump just in case of a power failure.
Now the last thing for Martin to do is test the main pump. That is freaking upsetting. Can you imagine that? That's what a builder does? Think about the liabilities of that happening on a sidewalk with kids walking down here and tripping. They know it's gonna freeze. They did it anyway.
Right next to the public property, which is used by kids. You got a park right down the street.
You got a public school right there. I've seen about 50 kids walk by here. That is infuriating.
Obviously, I'm going to disconnect it. This is not even, we're not even talking about a code aspect here. This is a safety issue. This thing was not even glued.
It's beautiful out, boys. Wow. It almost feels like summertime! Thanks, MJ. Go get him.
Huh? Who wants it?
The insulation is just at a minimum code. You want about 12 inches. That's a little low, actually. We can fix that up. Minor compared to the rest.
We'll talk about a nice day to actually get some outside work done. I think the weather's cooperating with us here. I'm gonna have Carl caulking sills today. That means grinding out all the mortar, getting some caulking in there. We'll have Yvonne on the roof today fixing those damaged bricks. We have Martin coming today. All the little plumbing issues that are in that garage got to get fixed today because I have spray foam coming Friday. Plus in the basement, I'm gonna have MJ ripping out all the old formwork in the cold room. Plus what we're doing, busy day ahead of us.
I'm ripping out all the wood here in this cold cellar. All the wood is sitting directly on the concrete. There's no sill gasket, there's nothing separating the moisture from the concrete and the wood. There's no moisture barrier, so I mean, it's not showing like it's soaking up too much moisture right now, but you can see here it's a bit wet. It's dirty. Over time, it's gonna create mold. There's gonna be a lot of mold in this room, and you know, it can make someone sick if they're down here or spread throughout the house, get in the ventilation system. So we just want to take it out and make it safe.
Can you ever smell the must in here now that you've disturbed it, eh?
Absolutely.
Moisture issues? I see a lot of moisture on that piece of plywood.
And you can definitely smell it.
And that, my friend, is way too much water coming into a house. Let's go check upstairs. This is right in the front doorway, so we know where it is.
All right.
See that gap there, eh, MJ?
Yeah.
In the front-facing stone, we might have to pull this back to get a caulking in there, okay? Because that's a stupid place to have a weeping hole, right at the top step. Let's take a look at this. Oh, look at that. Look at that seam right there.
Right under the crack?
Yep. They have a giant gap right here. Look at this. This is where the moisture is, right here. This whole thing wasn't done properly. Look at this joint right here. So the water was probably just coming right like this. Look at this. There's no drip edge here. The water was running right back into this crack. Like, this is incredible. This is 7 years old. Look at the loose mortar and look at the loose brick on this house. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Because there's no lip here, what I want you to do is get your grinder. I want to create a drip edge all the way around, okay? Okay. Here's a really good example of what happens when you do not have a drip edge. You can see the ice melting right here. You can see it coming down, and what it's doing is because there's no grooved line here to stop the water and allowing it to drip, it hits the wall and saturates the wall. That's how water was getting into that basement cold room. So if you look at the same area, now that Carl has cut the drip edge, you can see that the water is actually hitting the drip edge, dropping right to the ground instead of into the house. So what do you got, buddy?
One thing after another. It looks like they didn't put any wall ties. underneath this window on
There's
the brick
nothing
course.
under there for the next 3 courses?
As you can see, everything moves out.
Ay.
So,
Do you have enough bricks now to do this repair?
I have enough bricks, plus we can salvage these bricks, clean the mortar off.
Can we salvage the sills?
Yeah.
What a mess.
We've had to recaulk every single window in this house. We put a lot of man hours into redoing this. It's unfortunate that we've had to actually put this much time into something like this. So what we're doing is we're putting a much better product in here, which is basically going to keep the water out, and this caulking is going to stay nice and soft so that it doesn't dry up and crack away, so that we have water issues and water damage inside.
This was Mike's suggestion. He wants to spray foam right directly to the roof line here and spray foam it around the wall.
You could spray around that, the buttering effect, right? We could seal that off to stop any air movement from getting in.
Right.
Spray foam just the deck, underside of the sheathing. We're gonna spray this wall, because that's a cold wall as well. The cold's coming down the wall,
Gotcha.
The backside's cold. So that's gotta be sealed. Spray it, it's done, you'll never have a problem with it.
All right, Alex. So, typical garage, right? Not properly insulated. Now, they did the same thing here. 2x4 outside walls. Look at the gaps in this wood here. We have gaps in here. I mean, carbon monoxide was an issue in this house.
And what else happens in areas like this is you have stack effect in the house. In a multi-story house, hot air is rising, okay? And it's going up through the roof, through little openings and so on and so forth. What has to replace that hot air? Cold air, right? So where does the cold air? It comes in through the bottom, usually through the joist ends, through areas like this.
Right.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the spray foam right from the bottom plate. We're gonna spray right directly to the backside of the drywall.
Yeah.
We're gonna air seal everything, and then we're
Because that's the best thing about your product. I mean, especially for a garage, it's going to seal all these little gaps. It's going to bond this whole area. There's no way there's going to be any airflow in this after you're done here.
That's correct.
Do you have any issues spray foaming right to the half pound?
Not at all.
Okay, that's why we built down this wall for you. Now, we have some issues, obviously, with some plumbing. We'll keep that to the warm side.
We're gonna put cardboard baffles underneath all the plumbing.
Yeah.
Okay, therefore keeping the plumbing in a warm space.
Right.
Okay, the heat can get at it, and it'll never freeze again.
Now, one thing I just want to talk to you about, it's a minor issue. They didn't blow in enough up in the attic.
Okay.
So it's just to the top of the joist. I'm thinking, what, 4 or 5 inches up there more? Let's get it to an R50.
Bring it up to an R50.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Last connection we're making is to our whole house HEPA. It's just a secondary type of filtration. It captures 99.9% of any airborne particles, dust particles, mold particles, any type of spores. It's going to capture it. It goes down to 0.3 microns. That's very small. That's the head of a pin. So it's capturing all that. It's bringing that fresh air back into your furnace. It's cycling back through the rest of the house.
These 3 stairs here were over 24 inches off the ground, which here code requires it have a railing. They're built to code, they're built properly, and it just makes it safe. They've got kids. 24 inches doesn't seem much to a 6-foot tall person, but to someone who's 3 feet tall, it's you know, it's a long way.
This is kind of a surprise for the homeowner. Mike came in and noticed that they just had drywall back here, and that's kind of gross cooking against drywall. It doesn't really clean off as well, and it doesn't look as sharp. Damon went out and picked up these, and we're laying it, and I think they're gonna really like it.
Oh! Wow!
Goodness.
I'm looking forward to walking in the door and feeling like I can just take my coat off, take off my boots, sit on the couch, and enjoy my family.
You guys are smart. Warm coats.
Yay.
Can you believe this weather?
You do.
Well, for spring, it's a pretty cool spring day. Nice to see. Oh,
I'm doing your hug right away.
well, you keep me warm. That's good.
Thank you.
Welcome home.
We're so excited.
Let's start with your downspouts, okay? Now, I'm not a big fan of how the downspouts look, but they gotta get away from the foundation. So we try and boot this one into your front garden and get the other one out. We also changed that downspout so the dryer vent can open properly. We actually pulled out your rails. You gotta love this. Ooh. The stairs came out because the water leak that was coming in was in behind, and I had pointed that out to you.
So that was in the cold room?
That was in the cold room. Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
we stopped that moisture from getting in. We even caulked this side that the stone was breaking. If you notice, we pulled out that downspout there that you had from your sump pump, and it was going underground.
Yeah.
By the way, where did it go, Damon?
This was really frustrating. I don't get frustrated too often, but this really frustrated me. As I walked out of the house, Martin hit the switch on the sump pump downstairs. It ejected onto the sidewalk. It actually, so much water came out of there, it was crazy. And talk about lawsuits.
Yeah.
Somebody's walking down the street, they slip on that.
Okay, it's just a man cave. It's just a man cave.
Look at this.
This is 100% thermal broken. This is wall-tight eco-sprayed in here, wall-tight eco-sprayed in the top, in your front wall, all new. So the good news about this is we stop all this wonderful cold from getting in your house, as well as when you park your car, the carbon dioxide coming off the muffler.
Yeah. So that was, the issues we had was all behind right here, right? With air getting sucked in there?
We had the air return in the wall in 2 locations here, right?
Absolutely. There's 2 air returns here that were plywood, if you remember.
Yeah.
No seals on the side. So anything that got in the walls, which we know a lot got in the walls, was just going right into your air returns.
It's about what's behind it is what's important to us. Making sure we seal off the air return, making sure the duct lines, the hot air that we want to go upstairs is hot and not competing with cold out here. Come on. Well, we might as well get comfortable now because we do have heat in the house. And a lot of it, actually.
Feel it right away.
But if you look around all the ductwork, that's what I love about my guys. They've taken down the old crap that was up in the ceiling and put up a better board for your air return. They've used the goop, we'll call it goop,
okay,
all over every single joint.
The gray stuff here, right?
Because you were losing so much heat in the basement alone through leakage, wasn't getting enough to get upstairs. And then it's competing with the cold that was in the garage to get to the front rooms. Yeah. You're never gonna be cold in your rooms again.
Awesome.
Because we've added all kinds of insulation to your attic, fixed the ventilation in the attic in the garage. So we're making sure we have air get into a cold zone that's supposed to and exit when it's supposed to. That's really important.
Oh,
what's that?
You have 2 wonderful children, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want their lungs cleaning the air in the house. We put in a standalone HEPA air filter system, so now this cleans the air.
For me, the biggest thing from in the basement was the HEPA filter, and just the quality of air that we're going to have that's going to be so different for us and for the kids is just, it just blows my mind, just his, just the generosity and just that attention to our health and our safety.
You'll notice the difference. There'll be less sneezing, there'll be less all kinds of things. This is your major backup to absolute clean air inside this home. And if everyone did this, we'd have less bronchitis, we'd have less allergies, we'd have less problems internally in our home that we don't know about. So once I tell you, then
That's
you know.
amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Fixing all the plumbing underneath the sink, you remember that?
Yeah.
Because I remember it was running uphill. It was a big issue. Fixing all our down runs, fixing up air. I mean, it's, again, it's not major things you see, but these are a lot of things that we've done for the bones to your house.
Oh, yeah.
New panel?
Wow, that's much bigger than the old one.
We had the issue with once we had actually hooked everything up properly, we didn't give you 2 extra breakers, and that's by code. We have to do this, so they went right to a new panel. Love it. You have the surge protectors on your telephone, your cable, and on the whole house. This is really important.
All the blue stuff's gone off the walls, too.
Yeah, you noticed the rigid. It was a fire hazard, so we had to take it out.
I love this. Here we go. Hello, hello, hello. pulling off all the form that shouldn't have been there, because we're not supposed to do that. It's just absorbing the moisture, and it's gonna mold. Smells good in here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't smell bad at all.
No, because before when you walked in, you kind of wanted to get out, otherwise your clothes would smell like in the room right away.
Yeah. Well, when MJ started pulling all this down, there was actually a big wet spot here, and it was starting to mold. I mean, you had wood right directly on concrete, and you had a leak.
You know, it smells like cement, and that's what it should smell like, right? That's what it's all.
We like that smell.
Liar.
When we run new electrical, we caulk the holes. Now, come over here. So what do you see here?
The pipe is insulated.
And the sump pump.
And there's something down there.
That's a battery backup.
Okay.
That will last 2 days. So now, in other words, you lose electricity, and this thing wants to eject water. It will.
No flood.
No flood.
Nice.
Awesome.
It doesn't happen every day that someone comes to your house and says, okay, you've got all these problems, you know, I hear you, don't worry, we're gonna take care of it. And it kind of floors you to have someone come in and say that. Our heads kind of been spinning this whole time thinking, you know, really, you're gonna take care of all of these issues? And, you know, we don't have
Are
to...
you sure?
Really?
Oh!
Wow!
Wow!
Goodness!
You got ourselves backsplash in here.
Lovely.
Damon did this without talking to me, which I really liked, because I came in and went, wow, I like that.
Yeah.
It's darker and it's shiny.
It just kind of hits you in the face. I never would have chosen such a dark color for a backsplash, but it looks fantastic.
It's glass. Did you know how much money glass tile is?
I was hoping you were going to ask me.
There's been so many aesthetic things that we haven't been able to do for this house just because everything else has taken precedent, you know, things like safety and, you know, things like warmth, so.
And turns out a bunch of other things.
Yeah, apparently. So it's nice to actually, you know, get the feeling that we can start decorating and doing the things that we want for this home and make it a home for ourselves now.
And we're all patched up here.
Well, all this was open. We spray foamed everything, all closed it up again. You can't even tell we did it, eh?
No. Wow.
Looks great, guys.
I love it.
Good job, Damon.
Glad you like it.
I know it.
You know what? I'm going to have to pay for this later, right?
Thanks, buddy.
Wow.
Railings.
We got railings.
Yay.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, once again, you have 2 kids, and Damon decided to throw in some extra. I love Damon
Rock
for
solid.
this.
That is not going anywhere.
Now we come back here and we look up, because this is originally why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because we had brick problems.
Yes.
So when Yvonne went to pull it out, I remember Damon yelling out,
Take 1 brick out at a time. But as soon as he started pulling the ones just below that window, you had no brick ties in your bricks at all, and they came out in one giant chunk. All those 8 bricks or so that you see up there underneath that window came out in one solid piece.
we fixed it all. More importantly, we fixed all your precast that you're never gonna have this problem again.
Every window, as Mike said, every sill, every door, everything, your porch.
So do it right. You don't have to come back and fix it. I keep saying this, do it right. How old's this house?
8 years.
Should I be fixing this?
No.
No. I think Mike's really given us a second chance at loving this house the way we did when we first saw it and making it our space that we can call home.
That leaves more time for drinking in the summer.
I think so. I think so.
You're not going to get out of things so easily, though. There's going to be more work here, buddy. You know it.
I'm happy, you're happy.
Oh, we're thrilled.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're a good guy. We like good people.
Thank you.
And we care about your kids.
Thank you,
Thank
Damon.
you so much.
Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Peace of mind.
Thank you.
No worries.
Ready to make this a home.
We can't thank you enough.
Well, just invite us for the barbecue. You know, we're beer and steak guys. We're pretty easy.
No problem. Done.
I think it's going to be nothing but good things from here on in.
You think I'm going to fit down this thing?
I don't want to go back to work.
There was a contractor who was a former home inspector. He said he would come in and take a look at the house for us.
That's bad.
Oh my God.
Get the hell out of the house right now.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be in here. Ross and Lisa, both teachers. bought a house, looking for the area that's close to work that makes sense. Nice area, beautiful backyard.
We both finished university, and we decided that once we got jobs, full-time teaching jobs, which was very difficult at that time, we decided to stay home both live at home for 6 months and save up some money and be able to make a down payment on a house. And ended up finding this place and for a great deal, and it was just in the location, the exact location we wanted to be in, and it was kind of like a dream come true.
We know we always wanted a dog, so we wanted to make sure that we had something with a big yard, and we wanted to be in the downtown core, near everything, and a detached house, just so there was less, I guess, noise.
A lot of homes around here are bungalows, and we didn't want a bungalow, just like the bedrooms upstairs. Gets them further away from my loud drums, too.
They did the right thing. They hired a home inspector, actually a contractor, which is not terrible because they're supposed to know a lot about construction. He comes in, he sees a few things, appears to miss quite a few things.
Because we had kind of reached to the outer limits of our budget, we were trying to save some costs wherever we could, and there was a contractor who was a former home inspector. He said he would come in and take a look at the house for us and do an inspection, I guess.
I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do a whole Holmes inspection. I'm gonna find out what's wrong, what's right, and what I need to do to fix it.
He pointed out a few things.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
the deck at the time was falling apart pretty
Yeah.
much, and he said right away, you're gonna have to replace that, and we did. He pointed out that there was 2 sump pumps in the house. We couldn't really check to see if they were working, but he just pointed out that they were there. The inspector did not give us a written report. He did a walkthrough and pointed out some of the minor problems, and he said there's really nothing to worry about.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Oh, drums.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Ross.
Ross, I'm Mike. Nice to meet you. Lisa?
Lisa.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
The only place we didn't look, regretfully at the time, was the attic. He didn't have a ladder, and we didn't live here, so we didn't really have access to a ladder. And he said not to worry about it, that there'd really be no deal breakers up in the attic.
Didn't go in the attic?
Didn't go in the attic.
Right.
Didn't even have a ladder.
Didn't have a ladder. Did he have anything?
Flashlight?
Flashlight.
Yes.
But a flashlight works with a ladder. A camera works with a flashlight and a ladder. Things that I keep talking about as doing home inspections.
Our order of everything was house, dog, ring.
So we started to discover a lot of the problems around the same time we were gonna buy the ring, which has now put that on hold a little bit because of the cost involved in having to repair some of these things.
We found mold in our bathroom, and right next to that, we found mold in the spare bedroom lining the spare bed. It made me really nervous just because I do have a past with living in an apartment with a lot of mold, and it caused a lot of lung issues for me, so it kind of scared me. And we started to wonder, where else is it?
Lisa, you want to come down here?
What's that? Oh my God.
Records.
Oh my God.
I was taking down these pictures just to move them, and we found mold behind all the pictures, including one on that side of the basement as well. Your dance picture.
Oh my God.
You see what I see?
The buckling in the ceiling.
Why am I seeing buckling? I'll tell you why.
Moisture.
Yes. And it's not soaked. It means moisture's in the attic, and now it's buckling. Not a good sign. Okay, how do I get into your attic?
Through the office.
Office. Let's take a look at your office. And now you've set up a moisture meter and everything in the house. I'm glad you put this in. Now, what's our moisture at?
It gets as high as 70, but never drops below 55.
55%. That's too high. You have too much moisture in the air. You can feel how hot it is, and probably gets worse in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely, especially this room.
And again, I'm seeing it in your drywall. You have all kinds of buckling in your drywall. Okie dokie. That's bad. That's what we call fur. There's a whole lot of it. I know I have heat loss. I'm black on the sheathing. I know I have heat mixing with cool air in the winter. I don't like seeing the insulation that's all dirty. It's just showing air movement. It's all it's doing. This is getting really bad. But don't worry, there's not gonna be a deal breaker that's up in that attic. There's just, trust me, there's not gonna be a deal breaker. Well, let me tell you, there may not be enough insulation. There may be critters living in your attic. You may have improper electrical. You may have mold galore, and you may have moisture and structural problems. Look in the attic.
That scared me even more because just like a little bit of mold in the bathroom I was worried about, and now it's really just in the basics of our house, the structure of our house. So it was really quite frightening to hear.
Let's go to the basement, take a good look at your basement. No rails. Did we talk about no rails? Did you take rails down?
Nope, there was no rail.
No, you need a rail, right? Okay. So we do have insulation on the outside there. I'm sorry, this is what I do. I took a look at everything. And we also have mold buildup on the bottom of the flooring. You see that? To see mold on the inner side of the sheathing and surface mold on the wall is not really a good sign at all. We see it anywhere else, let's just take a look. The first tile I move, what did I see? Mold. I move a second tile, what do I see? Mold. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's not a good sign. You know, one little area, okay, no problem. One little surface, no problem. Everywhere, problem. Okay, come on. This is really clear. What do I see?
Black.
Black. What is that?
Mold.
Yes, it's mold. So I saw it above the tiles. This is very clear. You have so much trapped moisture in here. Now I'm wondering where this trapped moisture came from, and it's starting to build up. So this is probably more mold than you want to be breathing. I'm not going to really touch too much in your house today. We have a sump pump, yes? Because I noticed that we had a drain that went through the wall, and I can take it, it's in the front, approximately mid. And what does that tell you?
We're below sewer grade.
That's correct. Sump pumps are often used when a home is below the sewer line, and that's what's happening here. In this case, water drains into the pit from the washing machine, the sink, and the floor drain. And the pump then ejects it back up into the main stack where the drain runs into the sewer system. You have two pumps in your home, one here and the other one's at the front, and that one collects groundwater. This doesn't smell very good, by the way. You know, you're wondering, you walk through the basement and it smells a little bit of musty smell. Well, you got water sitting in the basement. If it's always gonna sit there, it's gonna smell like crap. And it's gonna emit. So, you know, we wanna see this a lot tighter, and it's not. We even see a surface mold buildup. Look at that right there within the well itself, which is not good. There's a lot of mold in this house. A lot of mold in this house.
I'm feeling a little bit panicky. Mike found a lot more mold issues than I thought that we had.
Now we're a little bit worried about what else he's gonna find.
We've been saving up for a ring, like we are planning on getting married fairly soon, but obviously we can't leave something this dangerous.
First tile I moved, what did I see? Mold. I move a second tile, what do I see? Mold.
We started to think, you know, with how much all these things are going to cost, is getting married even going to be a possibility anytime in the near future?
One of those houses that got me a bad feeling. I can feel the humidity in the air. It's really hot in here. Well, the inspector had a flashlight. Didn't have a ladder. Doesn't know anything about building. He's not a bad guy. He just doesn't know enough, and that's a problem. Most inspectors never pull up a register. They never take a look at anything. When it comes to moving something, they don't want to move a thing. Ducks are a little dirty, but it's nothing. Surface mold on the wall inside the house is not the greatest thing. Move this cabinet, which has probably got a couple of bodies in it. Holy cow. I shouldn't use my flashlight, but I'm going to. What I want to do is I want to see inside the wall there. I made a hole, I'm going to fix it. Exactly what the home inspector doesn't want to do. But it gives me the opportunity to also look in the wall to see what insulation's there. Is there vapor barrier? The answer is no. I do have a buildup on the tar paper here as well. You can clearly see that we have a buildup. Now also the insulation sticking to it, but it's showing that it's been wet. What are the key signs I look for? I come in, I see what's been done to the house. He's done some work down here. He's taken out this wall, he's got in 2 support posts. But for a home inspector not to do what I did, move a couple tiles. All right, you missed that one. Clear as day, looking in the furnace room, there's mold all over the floors. Did you miss that? Did you not look up? You had a flashlight, right? And right now, I'm pretty damn sure we have a possibility of a lot of mold spores in the air. So one of the first things I'm doing before I touch too much or not touch enough is to do an air test on this home to see if I got to get them out of the house. Wow, that was fast. That was really fast.
How are you?
I'm doing much better. You're here.
Oh.
Just so you know, Angela, I didn't think I was going to need you here today, but as I was looking downstairs, all the sheathing in the floors, above the floor joist, this floor, is just mold, mold, especially in the back furnace room. If you want to go take a look at it,
sure.
Right away I said, we got to call an air test just to see whether or not they're safely in here. How fast can I find out?
We'll find out likely tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? That's perfect.
I'm going to be doing an air test to see what the airborne spore levels are like in the house. I'll also do a direct sample of the mold itself just to identify what type of mold it is, if it's heavy growth, moderate growth, that kind of thing. Airborne mold tends to be limited in the summer months because of the humidity, but it's still certainly a possibility. The most common health issues with mold are allergenic in nature. So whether you're allergic to mold or not, it can have an allergenic effect on you. So, you know, runny nose, itchy eyes, sore throat, sometimes breathing problems are usually what we see. The moisture content of wood that starts to support mold growth is 17%, and I've realized that the subfloor here is very, very close to that. So it's no surprise that there is mold growth on the subfloor.
So normally, I'm going to use my IR camera in the winter, a cold day, a wet day, but it's so hot in the attic. I think I can use this to pick up any heat loss. And look how hot that spot is right there. Like, you shouldn't have a hot spot like that. That's huge heat. There's another one right there. I was called in because of the attic. And it's really clear as to why that's happening in the attic. Insufficient insulation in the upstairs, in the attic space, probably only this much insulation, nowhere near enough. Areas that it's escaping through. Now add that it's probably not breathing good enough through the soffit, so what's happening? Hot meets cold creates condensation. Give it the second food group, which is organic, paper on the drywall, the lumber, you're gonna have mold. And this house has mold with a capital M. Talk about this mold house.
Ooh, that's a little smelly. Hello.
Did you notice it was in the air? It wasn't me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's really musty.
There's a lot of mold in this house. You don't even have to tell me. I could smell it.
You got one hell of a tan, dude.
I do. I'm molding. I'm molding.
Organic, you are alive.
My God, I'm molding right here.
Surface mold throughout the house. My God, you want to give me a hand with my tools?
Absolutely, buddy.
Fresh air.
Yeah,
Oh,
isn't that better?
nice? Holy cow.
It stinks in there.
Yes, it does.
The walkthrough we had with the original home inspector doesn't really hold a candle to the walkthrough we just had with Mike. He found 10 times as many problems in probably half the time. At this point, with finding everything out we found out, I'm not even 100% sure anymore if we would have bought the house.
Mr. Bennett.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Would you set that up?
Not at all. We were waiting to work.
All right, a couple things here. This is funny because it hit me last night when I was dreaming.
Yep.
This is not a cold room, and right away when it's a cold room, I'm thinking steel door, insulated door.
It's not.
No, the actual under the porch is on the other side of the
Oh,
block
you're kidding
wall.
me, okay.
So here's what they did, and I'm surprised there's not a lot more mold in here. They put a steel door, turn it into a cold room.
Right.
It's not, it's part of the inside wall.
Right.
But the steel door actually blocks all this off. You've got your joist right here on this side. Yeah. No air's getting in, and all they're doing is the possibility of stale air being in here, water in the ground.
Just sitting there.
Yeah, mold growth on the tar paper.
Right.
You know, it's like the inspector didn't see that. He didn't look down, he didn't look up, he didn't look straight, I think. I don't know.
And he couldn't
didn't
smell.
have a ladder, he had a flashlight. Here's what we're gonna do. Really nice and gentle. Just draw a straight up line, 2 feet right across. Peel the drywall off nice and slow, gloves, masks, and let's take a look at what we find.
Oh, there you go. You guys smell that now? Whew. Look at this. It's all over the tar paper.
Smells weird, too.
I've never seen this situation here. Or you don't see it more on the wood, you're seeing it mostly on the
I can really smell it.
You smell that?
Now it's really starting to get strong.
Look at that. I just think there's a high water table, hence the 2 sump pumps, right? I think they had a high water table here, and I just think it's bleeding right through this foundation right now. Hey, Holmes.
Oof.
Yeah, you smell that now that we've opened it?
God, I brought my mask. That smells really bad, actually.
We got a lot of mold, buddy.
Yeah,
you see a lot of surface, eh?
Yeah, and it's on the tar paper, not the studding.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is really simple. We're gonna bring the homeowners in. I'm gonna kick them out today.
Okay.
You know, the rule of thumb is 10 square feet.
Yeah.
You should bring in a professional, so we're gonna bring them in.
Okay.
Besides, it's all on the floor. This is gonna have to be ice sprayed. We're shutting it down, and we're going to the next level.
Okay, all right.
Ross, Lisa.
Hi.
How's it going? Have you met Damon
Lisa?
Bennett?
No, we haven't met yet. How you doing, Lisa?
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Damon, how you doing?
Good, man.
Nice day. Really hot out. Really, even hotter in your attic. I'm sure you know that. It's just an oven. If you notice, I'm holding 2 masks. I have one for myself. I want to show you something, and I'm going to ask you to put these on. You don't have to do it yet, but when we go downstairs, you will.
Whoa. Yeah, I think I was most surprised by the smell of, like, that damp smell that I said that we had originally smelled when we had moved into the house, but there was carpets. We thought, oh, it's just the carpet's damp, so we should not have carpet in the basement, and that smell kind of went away. But really, as soon as the walls got opened up, it was in there. So that was really quite shocking to smell.
You were okay for the air, and I'll explain why you were okay for the air. The mold that's up on the ceiling now is moist. So since it's moist, it's holding it. But as soon as it dries out and your humidistat drops down or your humidity drops down, it's going to turn into a powder form and start to fall. And spores are going to be in the air, and that's going to be bad. Your home is in a low-lying area, so water will always find its way to your house. Unfortunately, that's causing a lot of moisture in your home. We're going to eliminate most of that moisture by waterproofing your basement. But first, we have to get rid of all that mold. Because it exceeds the rule of 100 square feet, anything over 10 square feet, we recommend the professionals to clean it up. But there's a real rule, 100 square feet. There's no choice. It's a level 3, which means today I have to ask you to leave your house.
It's very worrisome to think of what could have happened and what is happening to our bodies right now because of where we've been living.
This house has the most mold I have ever seen. You could smell it when you first walk in. So we have Brian's guys here today to start remediating. Dry ice in the attic, remediation in the basement. I really love what you've done with the place, man. This is shocking. Like, imagine someone walking into their house and seeing this. It's like a containment unit.
Essentially, that's what it is. Setting up a containment unit so you don't spread anything.
So how are we able to physically be down here without our masks?
Well, the thing with mold is we haven't gone dirty. What it means, when you're going dirty, it means you've actually restarting the removal and everything like that. Right now, most of the mold is contained behind the walls.
It's not airborne.
And it's not really airborne. It's not affecting us as much. Right. Yeah, you still smell that little musty smell, but that's just general moisture in the air.
Right.
In the basement, we're in level 3 mold. What happens is we cover up as much as we can, remove all the articles out, and then we take the drywall, the insulation, the vapor barrier, and also the tar paper out.
Right.
All of it will contain mold in the end. It's best just to get all the substances out. And then from there, we take it out to the bin, and it's disposed of as regular waste.
And you have dry ice happening up in the attic if that's really moldy.
Yeah, we already moved the insulation up in the attic. We're doing dry ice blasting. What happens with dry ice blasting is they take the chemical compound dry ice, they feed it through a tube, through a generator. It dries up the mold and allows it to come off a lot easier than, say, sending in our guys and telling them to scrape for 3 days in a row.
If the homeowner comes up into their attic, has a look, and finds a lot of grayish black and other vegetative growth up here, they would want to go back down out of the attic, call an environmental hygienist so that they can come, do an assessment, do all the testing to determine what the growth is, how heavy is it. You don't want to come up with a bucket of water, and please don't come up with any bleach. It's not going to work.
So remediation is done, clean bill of health. Okay, there's no mold existing, but that moisture is going to create more mold. Okay, so what do I see? I see old drywall still up. We're going to lose that today. I'm not using anything down here but our blue products, okay, which is going to mean blue framing, and it's going to mean blue drywall. No mold, all water resistant, right? Now we have another issue. What's behind you? We have a huge leather expensive couch. The homeowner built it in down here, so he took out the wall upstairs and got it down here. So what are we doing?
Busting the wall.
We're gonna bust the wall open upstairs to get this couch back out because we are not gonna frame around this couch. It's way too expensive, way too nice. Okay, here we go, sunshine. 1, 2, 3. So I mean, just be careful going up the stairs, right? Drop my hand. Okay, you got the bottom now, MJ? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Damon.
Hey, bud, how you doing?
Good.
That is one heavy-duty sewage ejector.
That is a bad boy.
Okay, where is it going, man?
It's going in the corner.
Okay.
That entire corner needs to be actually excavated. Because what I have is obviously my laundry tub is draining into it, my floor drain is draining into this, and those are plumbing fixtures that need to be discharged through a sanitary line.
Right.
So sewage ejector will solve that problem.
So this is the only exposed part, is the top here?
Yep, that's the only thing that we'll see at the end. Everything below is going to be buried in the ground, covered with concrete, and you can see a number of screws and how tight this entire unit is. So
obviously a seal on it and everything.
Everything, right? So it won't allow any gases to escape, but also moisture, right?
That's fantastic. Because we have standing water. Like I have, what, probably 6 to 8 inches of standing water there, the same back there. The amount of humidity in this air right now, it is going to bring it into the air. I got to worry about upstairs. I mean, this will continuously travel, right? So I got to worry about mold in this whole house, not just down here.
You guys ready? 1, 2, 3.
I have to say, for a homeowner, taking out a load-bearing wall is pretty ambitious. $12 in lumber is holding this house up. Okay, well, let's correct him a little bit. If you just stand back, you can see the deflection in that beam. That means this whole thing is sagged in the middle. He would have noticed over the years that this house would have started sagging. He would have had cracked tiles up there, everything would have started shifting. It's not something he should have started. When you're dealing with structure, it's a safety issue at that point, and this is why really you should be calling in the professionals. We always do as well. We would never do electrical or plumbing ourselves. We know how to, but we just don't want to. We want the professionals to come in and do it properly.
I'm extremely anxious about Mike looking at all the work I've done to the house. I've knocked a wall out, I've built a new deck, so I'm crossing my fingers and I hope that he approves.
A little under the bar, maybe $20 in lumber instead.
Frankie, so what'd you find here?
The electrical panel that we do have, I'd like to see a new one.
Why?
It's old, very flimsy. And we've also got another weird one, which we need to investigate a little more. It says outside receptacles.
Check out what you need to check out. Let me know. Okay. I'm glad I brought you. Glad I brought you.
Hey, Dame, I got something to show you in the back.
Okay.
See this extension cord right here?
Yeah.
Okay, it's actually plugged in right by the sliding door. If you actually follow it,
they have their lights onto it.
And then it's actually split up right here.
Oh my God.
For these lights here, and then for a floodlight that's not rated for outdoors.
Talk about dangerous, eh? People don't even
that's rated
realize.
For indoors. And again, for temporary use, not permanent use.
Well, it's also an open, electrical.
Well, it's all open, look at that. It doesn't take much for water to get into that, or for snow to build up here. Ground is earth.
Right.
What's just under here?
Yeah, that's earth.
We have the same issue on the other side.
Yeah.
I can't leave this like this.
Okay, I know what that's gonna mean. We're coming out of the house with electrical conduit. That's what I'd like to do. Do you have any issues with that?
No, the only thing is we're gonna do with conduit, we have to dig a minimum of 18 inches down.
Yep.
So it is gonna be a bit of a big trench.
Oh my God. Look at the size of that hole. How far does this gap go, guys? Does it keep going this way?
Oh, just block and rocks, like all under here, like 6 inches under the earth. It's all just the rubble from that building.
Well, when we first got here, I talked to the owner up at the top of the street. And this low-lying area used to be a marsh, and after that, they built a factory on top of it for World War II. They made parachutes here. It burned to the ground. What they did is they buried the rubble and built the house on, according to him. Well, that's all speculation until we actually come across something, and this is the first evidence that that something actually existed here. Now, why is this important? Because what's happening is if that concrete, all that rubble is sitting under this earth, where is the water going? Well, we know where it's going. It's being absorbed into the house. We already have a lot of water in this area. We have a hill up this way. We have a hill up this way. Everything is draining into this house and the house next door. All that water is sitting under here. But what's worse about this, not only was it a marsh area, but we have that collapsed building underneath that's just retaining the water. It's just holding it in. The water has nowhere else to go. Water always goes to the lowest point. Unfortunately, we're at the lowest point. This is something I'm gonna have to give a pass on the inspector. How would you ever know? He's here to inspect your house and give you his best opinion on what he thinks is wrong with it, so that you have some knowledge walking in whether you want to buy that house or not, or negotiating rights at least with the owner. So there's nothing we can do about this. They actually built the house on top of an old rubble pile. What we have to do is waterproof this foundation to make sure the basement is dry and mold-free. You can feel the moisture down here, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
As soon as you step down those stairs, it jumps like 20 points. Now this moisture reader, Colin, I brought from upstairs, which read about 55 on the top floor. I brought it down, and in about 20 minutes, it jumped. It's at about 82 right now.
Wow.
This whole house is sitting in a bowl. Mm-hmm. Underneath this is a collapsed building that they never took out, and it's in an old swamp.
Oh.
So we know right now we're sitting in a bit of a lake under here.
Yeah, it's holding all the water. This basement is far more humid than a normal basement. Like, the levels in here are off the charts. Yeah. So if we were to seal this up on the outside, it wouldn't do anything to manage the water under the floor. The best repair for us here is going to be to chip a trench around the interior perimeter, dig down about a foot. Now, because of the footings for the load-bearing walls on the interior of this house, we've actually had to trench a little bit deeper than we normally do so we can have our weeping tile run underneath those footings, because we can't compromise those footings and we're not supposed to chip them. The weeping tile system we're going to install, that's going to pick up the water as it rises up underneath the floor. When we get a torrential downpour, our weeping tile is going to discharge into a sump box. That sump pump is going to discharge that water. We can't stop the water that's underneath this house, but what we can do is manage it by the time it gets to the point of the basement floor, and that's what the interior weeping tile system does. What we've done to make sure that water's contained is we've installed a drainage membrane on the foundation, and what that will do, the water will stay behind that membrane and it'll be directed into our weeping tile. The homeowner, she's going to notice a difference right away. It'll be dry and she'll get a whole different feeling when she breathes the air in the house.
So you got them started, eh?
So this is what it's going to look like at the end.
So this unit here, it's not being picked up by the weeping system. This is strictly being picked up by the drain and the washing machine, correct?
That's exactly it. Right. This is part of the sanitary line, so I can only do a floor drain and I can do a laundry. Right. The fixtures that we're going to have in this room. We do have a weeping tile, however, that's going to run to the front of the house where we're going to have exact same system, but it will be responsible for the storm. I ran video camera when I did my inspection of the sanitary line and the storm line. So there is a storm system outside of the house which drains directly to the city.
Are we allowed to tie into it?
So we are allowed to tie into it.
Beautiful.
I don't have to bring the line and out through the wall.
That's great.
The pump itself is a sewage pump, so it's a lot more capable than a typical pump that's utilized for a storm system or just the regular water. The sewage pumps have greater horsepower output. They can actually take debris, break it down into smaller pieces and discharge it. So the new system, the new design that we're implementing, it's an airtight, watertight system that won't allow any moisture to escape. Bulletproof solution in my eyes, considering the circumstances.
Steven, you will get back to work. You two, down in the basement. Joey, let's do some electrical. Let's go.
The surface mold that I've seen inside your house is not good for you two. Personally, I'll tell you, get the hell out of the house right now.
I mean, the lesson is learned. We'll definitely make sure that we get a top-rate, #1 home inspection next time around, because the stress that these problems have caused is something we never want to go through again.
So by putting gravel into the voids, what I'm trying to achieve is water drainage. After I fill the voids with the 3/4 crushed gravel, would allow the water to just drain right to the bottom, because if I just fill that with earth, with all the pockets underneath here, that earth will continuously drain away. So before Joey lays his pipe, what I want to do is I want to lay some landscaping fabric under the existing geotextile that was laid just for the patio here, so that the earth is not draining through the gravel as well, holding in my earth, holding in my pipe, and we can actually backfill this, sod it, and this will no longer move.
We've run the pipe, so now basically got to fill the trench halfway and install this caution tape. Basically, it says electric line buried below. This way, so if anybody starts digging, they're going to hit this first before they hit the pipe.
That's nice and neat, eh, Joe?
Basically done. And it's time for me to put my solar caps on. This is your cap,
yeah,
right?
Look at you, eh? Little design flair here and everything. All I wanted was a plug over here in the yard, and you got solar lights on it now.
I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it right.
Attaboy. Joey, thank you very much, buddy. It looks great, man.
It's relatively small for us today. Just changing out some roof vents. The old existing aluminum vents were a cheaper, low-quality grade. They've been squashed down over time with the weight of snow. They're plugged up with dust and debris from the attic. The soffits are and were open, but without being able to draw out through the top, it was really choked up. So we're putting in new aluminum pre-painted vents that are going to perform a lot better, breathe a little bit better, and get that moisture out of the attic.
Now, the mold that was originally in this attic was caused by a few factors, including improper airflow, which Steve has now fixed. The other major culprit was the moist air from downstairs escaping into the attic. So to resolve this, I've removed the old bad insulation and I'm going to spray foam the deck of the attic, which will give us a thermal break and a seamless vapor barrier. Now I'll top it up with some blown-in insulation and this attic will not mold again. So I'm troweling in concrete, which means my plumbing has been passed. I can close up the ground, get my guys on the framing today.
How are you guys?
You're having too much fun with that, Holmes.
Yeah.
We have to get this up so that Joey can start running his electrical. Dom, thank you very, very much for coming in, buddy.
Not a problem.
So the biggest thing about this house is the moisture level. So everything we're doing, like we've waterproofed down here, we've ripped out all the molds, everything we're doing is gonna help with this, including the windows, right? So just by changing these windows, they're single pane. And just imagine what that's leaking and bringing in, right?
These wood windows here, single glazing, are just useless windows.
Right.
We're gonna get a nice energy efficient window with strength and durability, so it performs.
Right.
And that's a combination you really need.
I know what Ross was going for here. He really wanted to open up his basement and give it an open concept. It was cramped. He had a wall going right along here when he first bought the house. It was tight, but there was a reason these walls existed. These are load-bearing walls holding up this house. What I've done is I've created 3.5-foot openings, at least on two sides, to allow a bit more of an open concept here, and I'll tell you why we couldn't give him an open concept. Right here, we have the stack for the house. It's coming from the ejector pump at the back of the house, and it's also picking up another washroom being brought over to the main stack that then's brought out to the city. It has to stay here, so why can't I move the beam this way? Here's my 2x8 beam right here. If anything, I would have to pack it out with a 4-pack to make a 14-foot opening that Ross originally had here. I would have had to do 2 more here. I cannot because of the HVAC trunks that are feeding the rest of the house with hot and cold, depending on the season. Nothing can come this way, nothing can go that way, so we keep the 2x8 beam, we give him bigger openings. He really was ambitious in the project, but he just didn't know enough to finish it properly.
2, 3.
I'm going to be priming and painting these spindles, which are paint-grade poplar. What I like to do first is sand the corners, just because you get, if there's going to be any splintering or breaking, that's generally where it's going to happen on the corner. Also, if we round the edges just a little bit, the paint will stick better. The primer and paint both stick better. Sand in between every coat, and we're going to have a very smooth finish on these.
No wonder they bought this house.
It's a nice backyard, isn't it? The house, you walk in, there's no smell hitting you in the face when you're walking. Remember the first day I walked in, I was just like, how is anyone living here? They're gonna walk in and say, is this the same house?
Knowing that Mike is here to fix it is, I think, the only thing comforting us at this point.
I would agree with that,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, God, it's gorgeous.
We paid our inspector an expensive case of beer. I think we're both a little bit embarrassed that we didn't get a proper home inspection, and we probably could have found a lot of these problems. It's really, really hard for us to be upset at him because we didn't do it properly. We did not do what we should have done.
This is so exciting. Oh, boy. We've been out for a while, so we're so excited to come back home and see everything that's happened.
Ross and Lisa. Hello. So nice to see you both again.
Hey. Lisa. Hi. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Do you notice anything in the backyard right now? Just anything? I don't see any extension cords. I know that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So we run an underground conduit, put in a solar light on each post, give you a receptacle, bring it up to code, and make it very safe for you too. And you should see it at nighttime. It's kind of romantic, I must say. We put down a shaded seed, so you're gonna love this, and he's put it everywhere. That way, this shaded seed, it allows the grass to grow in the shade. It grows in the dark. The stuff's incredible.
It's amazing.
So very soon, much unlike our hair, this is gonna look much better. Yeah, I said our, right?
Thank you.
Okay, now if you notice, let's look back at the house. There's 3 new roof vents up on top of your house. We wanna make sure we do critter-proof and proper airflow, which you did not have. We have smart screen on all your estraws, so this way, all the trees around your house, now nothing's going to clog or block your eaves or downspouts.
No cleaning troughs. It's great.
It's really high. Just the little things. Now, we have actually removed all the mold that was up there. We pulled out the insulation, put in all new insulation, made sure there's baffles in between the rafters, so we allow that air to get in low, drive to the top, and be pulled out in what we call stack effect.
I'm so thankful because of the health problems Lisa's had in the past and how important she is to me. I just couldn't, I almost couldn't breathe knowing that there was that many problems with the mold in the house. I'm so grateful that they fixed it and our health isn't at risk anymore.
We've done a lot of testing in your house. Through everything we've done, and we've now got your humidistat down to 40.
High 40s, 47. It's fluctuating between 47
So as long as you're in
49.
between 40 and 50, we're all happy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so that's pretty damn good.
That's a big change, yeah. As soon as we walked in the door, you could notice a difference in the air quality. You didn't smell any of the damp or mustiness. So right away, I knew that they had fixed that problem. They had addressed it and done a great job.
Now, Damon's done something here that I said was probably not the greatest thing, and that was really simple. He opened up this wall to pull your couch out, and I said, I would have told you to cut the couch in half.
Yes,
and
you
you're gonna
did.
have to buy a new couch.
So you're lucky I didn't
This
tell
whole
him.
wall came down to get it out, and then the good news is you got a new door.
Yeah.
Okay? You ready?
Ready.
Take your time, walk slow.
Oh, my God.
You're excited easily. I like that.
Well, this used to be
wood
paneling. Oh, my God.
Oh, God. It's gorgeous. The basement looks unbelievable. Like it feels so amazing. It feels more open. It felt like we were entering a room that was full of sunlight. That's amazing.
First, you're going to be in trouble.
Uh-oh.
You put in 2 2x8 beams. right?
Yep.
Your span was too far, and you goofed up structurally.
Oh, boy.
Good thing is that we fixed it. We can only span it 3.5 feet based on your beam. Okay, so now you're gonna have a center post here and 2 doorways, which really opens it up and looks good. We made your beam.
$12.50 in lumber?
You wrote it on
Yeah.
Never
worry, it'll
admit to
never
something,
make it.
right? Unless it's done right. Okay, now it is right. So we have a brand new panel and very neat. Look at the electrical. I love my guys. You have a whole house surge protector.
Beautiful.
Okay,
I
we
like
love
organization.
that. When it's done right. This was an absolute complete gut. All new blue wood studding. Thermal break, that means we use spray foam in your whole basement. You're gonna love your lower energy bill that's gonna cost you in the winter to heat this house. You just won't believe the difference by thermal break in the basement. All blue drywall, which is mold resistant, water resistant, which we want throughout.
One other thing we did here, an internal waterproofing.
The floor was dug up all the way
That's
around
right.
your foundation, a weeping system was put in place, and then it goes to the pump. That's a completely controlled and closed unit, so we don't get any humidity coming up from water or moisture in the air, nor do we get any smell. Everything was fixed in here. Again, thermal broken in behind it, all new electrical in the basement.
I know that you had some problems with molds in university. He talked to me about it before he left, and he said how important you were to him, and I know that mold was bothering you. So that was one of our most important things between Mike and I, is getting rid of the mold and making sure it's not going to come back after we leave as well. So that was something we had to do.
And the carpet is what?
No worries.
Carpet's what?
Hypoallergenic, and it's also commercial carpet.
So it means there's no organic products in it. It cannot mold. It's not going to be an issue.
Just to hear everything that they did to protect us and our safety from future mold, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm floored.
I can't even believe it. It looks incredible. I could never imagine our basement could look like this.
Go ahead.
Whoa! Woo! Oh my God!
So let's talk about what we've done in here.
The windows.
So all the plumbing was replaced to make sure everything's right. Look down.
Oh, covered somehow.
Another closed unit system. And high end, this is what we want to see. You never want an open well of any sort inside your house.
You can actually feel it in your house that the air quality is actually better in here.
And I noticed.
What?
Is that a new washing machine?
No! It just looks new because we cleaned it.
We cleaned it.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
We can tell who's not doing laundry here.
It looked brand new.
Oh boy.
So, is that a little bit of hint for your future?
Yeah, I need to do more laundry.
Did I hear something?
I need to do more laundry. My future wife.
So you did ask her.
I did, yeah. I couldn't wait.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
There was.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
It gives me a big peace of mind, knowing that everything here is safe for us and it's gonna last a long time, so we can feel good living in this house.
It's absolutely incredible. We're so thankful.
No way. You see that?
The whole drum was custom made for you.
No way.
I heard a rumor that Mike plays drums, so I'm interested to find that out if it's true.